Hello everyone. In this video, I will go over my solution with the problem named Web of Lies taken from today's Code Forces round. So in today's Code Forces round, I was able to solve problems A through D and my current rank is this much, 422. So I'll be posting the video editorials for problems C and D in the following two videos. So in this video, let's solve the problem Web of Lies. So from this problem first you learn how do you add and remove edges from a graph by using a special adjacency list representation of the graph. Because in this problem we need to answer three types of queries. The first one is to add an edge, the second one is to remove an edge, and the third one is to print an answer related to some process. So we need to be able to add and remove edges, and that's why I'll teach you in the implementation how to use a special adjacency list to add and remove edges. So in this problem, we are given an undirected graph with n nodes and m edges, and these n nodes are actually n nobles numbered from 1 to n. Each noble I has a power of I, and there are m friendships between these nobles, which are called the m edges. And we need to answer q queries. So first we are given n, m and these m edges, and then we need to answer q queries. Each query can be of three types. A type 1 query is when we add an edge between u and v. A type 2 query is when we remove the edge from u to v. And a type 3 query is some process is happening and we need to find the number of nodes left after doing some process. So the process is as follows. We remove all the vulnerable nodes from the graph. So what is a vulnerable node? A vulnerable node or a vulnerable noble is a node which has at least one adjacent node and all of those adjacent nodes have a higher power. So all the adjacent nodes have a higher number and we need to remove the vulnerable node from the graph. So all vulnerable nobles are killed and then we basically remove the node and all the adjacent nodes can become vulnerable, or basically the process will repeat until no vulnerable nodes are left. And we need to basically find out how many nodes are left after doing the process. So first let's analyze the type 3 query because this seems to be the hardest query. So let's make one key observation and then let's move to the sample test cases. So the key observation is that the nodes which are left after the process is done are precisely those nodes which have no adjacent node with a value greater than the node value. And this is actually the whole crux of the problem. And this is what the problem depended upon. The second part of the problem is actually the implementation detail of how to add and remove edges. But this is what you should spend time understanding. I won't give the formal proof in the video, but I'll give you a basic intuition for why this is correct. And the reason why this is correct is because let's say that there was a node u which had adjacent nodes of v1 to vk, and let's say that u was left after the process, and let's basically oppose this claim. So let's say that there was an adjacent node with a node value less than the value of u. Then what would happen? Then what actually would happen is that let's say that some vi was less than u, and let's say that vi was adjacent to u. Then what would actually happen is that we would remove vi because vi will have all adjacent nodes greater than its value. So because u is less than vi, we would remove vi. Obviously this would be after some number of steps, because let's say that in turn vi had some value, let's say ki with ki less than vi. Then first we would remove ki and then vi is less than u. That's why the second step would be to remove vi. and then basically vi would be removed and u would have a value greater than vi and u would remain. So in conclusion, we can easily realize that those nodes which have no adjacent node with a value greater than that node value are the ones which are left. And this is the key observation as I just mentioned. So now let's try to solve the sample test cases based on this observation. So in the first sample test case, we are initially given these three edges and we are given the first query. So we are given 4 queries and the first query is of type 3. So we need to find the number of nodes left. So let's use this observation that those nodes which have no adjacent nodes left with a value greater than the node value are the ones which are left. So firstly, we can see that node 2 will be left because node 2 has node 1 only adjacent to it, and similarly node 4 will be left, but node 3 and node 1 will be removed because they all have some adjacent node which has a value greater than that node. So that's why the answer for the first query is 2. And then we basically make some modifications. We add an edge from 2 to 3. So we basically do this. Let's say that this is the edge. Then and then after that we remove the edge from 3 to 1. So this edge gets removed. And now we need to find the answer. So now you should notice that node 2 is no longer a valid node because node 2 has node 3 with a value greater than it. So that's why node 2 basically changes to a non-valid node, and that's why our answer is just 1 because only node 4 will be the valid node or the node which is left. And that's why our answer for the second test case is just 1. And similarly, you should pause the video now and try to solve the second sample test case. And then I'll not solve the second sample test case because it's very similar and you should try to do it on your own. Instead, I'll show you how to basically implement the observation and how to store the graph using a special adjacency list because we need to facilitate the removal of edges. So now that you have tried the second sample test case on your own, let's see what our special adjacency list will look like. So the special adjacency list is actually a set of nodes for each node. So the adjacency list looks something like this. It's basically a vector of set int for each node. And this works because the first type query will just be inserting v into the adjacency list of u and inserting u into the adjacency list of v. And the second type of query will just be erasing v from the adjacency list of u and erasing u from the adjacency list of v. And this is why a set of adjacent nodes works very well. Now let's try to answer the type 3 query. So based on the key observation above, we know that the nodes which are left have no adjacent node with node number greater than that node. Now how do we simply check this? By using the new form of adjacency list. So notice that adjacency list of u dot lower bound u will give us the iterator to a number which is greater than u. So if this is actually equal to adjacency list of u dot end, this means that this condition is met. There is no adjacent node with a node number greater than that node, and hence u is a good node, which is a node that is left after the process ends. And this is all that we need to do. So basically we just initially maintain how many good nodes are there. So we'll do that by basically after taking in the m edges, we have a count of the number of good nodes. Then for every query where we are making some modification, we'll update the number of good nodes. So we'll basically check u and v if they are good before and if they are good now, and we'll basically update the number of good nodes. So this will be clearer to you when we look at the code. So in the code, first I read in the values of n and m, and I use this special adjacency list which I just mentioned. Then for each of the edges, I'll insert v and insert u into the two adjacency lists. Then I have an answer variable, which is the initial number of good nodes, or basically each answer value stores how many. Basically, answer will increase by 1 when we know that the current node is a good node, and this is the condition which we just derived. So I basically use this condition to check if the ith node is a good node. If it is a good node, answer will increase by 1. And I also used is. Now is basically checks, basically is will store whether or not I is a good node. So is of I stores the information whether or not I is a good node, or I is a node which will be left after the process ends. And based on this fact, we'll be able to easily answer the queries. So let's look at how we'll do that. So I read in the number of queries. I read in the type of the query. If it's a type 3 query, I print the answer. Otherwise, I read in the values of u and v. Now, this is a key trick which will make the code very simple. If initially, or if u is a good node, let's just subtract answer by 1. And if v is a good node, let's subtract answer by 1. Now let's make some modifications, and then let's again check whether u is a good node and whether v is a good node. And in this way, after we did this modification, so for now you can just forget these modifications, this code will essentially reflect these modifications on u and v. So you can take some time and understand why this code greatly simplifies the casework, and then you can proceed with the explanation. So now let's look at what we are doing in this lines of code. So in this code segment, I basically handle the type 1 query by inserting u and v, and I handle the type 2 query by erasing u and v from the two adjacency lists. Then I perform the same condition check which I mentioned. So if so basically I did not equal to. So not equal to will basically make is of u 0, and equal to will basically make is of u 1. So if adjacency list of u dot lower bound u is not equal to adjacency list of u dot n, then we know that u is not a good node. Like, that's exactly the same as this condition. I basically reversed the thing, and that was because like I was in a hurry, so I just did the reverse of what I was saying, but it remains the same. So you can easily understand these these four statements based on what I've written over here. They are exactly the same. And then I did the little trick which I told you. And in this way, we can effectively and easily reflect the change on the answer variable. And you should spend some time understanding why this is completely correct. And this code actually gave the pretest passed. And so this basically concludes the solution for problem C. So I hope you liked this problem. And as you could see, this problem taught us firstly how to store the adjacency list in such a way that we can effectively perform edge additions, so edge insertions and edge deletions easily in log n time, because sets take log n time for insertion and deletion. And then we also made the critical observation for deciphering this process. So we were able to decipher this process based on just one key observation, which I gave you the intuitive understanding for why it is true. So if you like the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and do consider subscribing to my channel for more such content. Thank you.